will share something different about myself. I would like to ask you to also share a little bit about yourself, and then we can get going. So what I'd love to know from you is, why are you in this room tonight? Why are you here? Is there anybody with a gun that I can't see? Why are you here tonight? So I'll tell you why I'm here tonight. So if you're around people that know me, they joke and they say, I am probably a professional VPE. I don't know how many times I've been a VPE. And whenever there's a club that's just struggling and who knows, they look like you know, when something is busy drowning, you just go gluk, 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 gluk. Well, you see a club in that ICU state, 10 to 1, I will be their next VPE. I don't know why, but that's where I go in and make things happen. So I have discovered amazing things about VPE. I've been VPE so many times, and I am so happy to be the program quality director, because that's like VPE on steroids. So why are you here tonight? So Erica, you joined first, so maybe you can go and share with us, why are you here tonight?
Definitely. So I'm from Toastmasters Malta, and I'm also a VP. It's my second time around as a VP, and it's something which I really love because it allows you to guide so many people on their educational journey. And I'm here because I love learning, I love gathering new ideas, I love understanding how to make things even better for our members. So here to learn.
There we go. Thank you so much. Laurie, why are you here?
It looked like an interesting topic, and I had seen you before at your district's conference. I think it was a couple of years ago. So I thought I'd check it out.
Okay, thank you. What was I doing? Was I doing a master class, maybe the monetizing your Toastmasters experience?
No, I don't remember what you were doing. Okay. I went to a lot of conferences that year. So.
Okay. Because most of the time I'm asked to do that particular one at conferences. You know, how to make money out of Toastmasters. Okay, that's a hot topic. Okay, and I can't read your name. I got to put my glasses on. Oh, Joseph. Some names I can guess, but others I need some help from a friend. Joseph, share with us, why on earth are you here tonight?
So this year I've taken the role of area director, and I hope that I can learn something which helps me guide or give some recommendations to the teams in my area to help them improve and thrive.
Aha. Wonderful. So you are an area director. Sorry, Laurie, I forgot. Did you tell me what you were doing, if you had whether you are VPE or something like that? I can't remember. Forgive me.
No, I have been several times. So I've been a Toastmaster since 2014. So I've done a lot of different things.
Okay. And what are you doing now?
Now I'm treasurer of a club and in another club, and I manage our district's Facebook page.
Okay. Thank you. Then I know what you are doing. And okay, so now I don't want to take this as easy, but is your name Dor? But you're muted.
Hi. Yes, sorry. Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'm speaking from Israel, and I'm not a VPE. I'm a president of a Haifa Toastmaster, and I'm here to hear more about the other rules. Wonderful. And I need to apologize because I'm going to pass to not to protect place, so not a safe place. So maybe part of the time the camera will be closed. So I'm sorry about that. We are fine. Uh,
Okay. We've lost your audio. We missed your audio. The last part disappeared. I don't know if you have. Okay. So we can't hear you. I don't know if your earphones, maybe you just need to select the correct audio. You know, when we put gadgets in, then Zoom automatically decides which audio needs to work. Okay. While you're figuring that out, I will just let you know that I have been in Haifa 2 times. I have a heartbeat for that side of the world, and I'm so excited you are here. But I'm happy that each one is here. But now I want to do one more thing. Let me ask just, Elena, why are you here?
Well, I'm here because I would like to provide this training to our members and officers. And I'm happy that you accepted the invitation. And I would like to be here and listen to what you will share with us during this time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So now we know why we are all here. Let's get this show rocking and rolling. Okay. I am ready to, I'm not going to do the entire time PowerPoint. I'm going to do a PowerPoint, and then we will have discussions going further. And I do believe right now you see my blank PowerPoint. And here we go. Leading your club and yourself to success. So the question is, what do you think success is? Let's have a discussion around that. What do you think success is? Is there anybody that would like to venture on that? By the way, just FYI, for your information, I don't dump knowledge. I'm not a knowledge dumper. I talk to people and interact with people. So if you were getting ready to do drip treatment, you know, knowledge in, understand this is not a session like that. So I do trust that you are happy to collaborate and interact with me tonight. Who would like to venture on that? Remember, it is what do you think, not what is the answer. What do you think success is? What does success look like to you? Who'd like to venture in?
If I can jump in,
Yeah.
I would say a successful club has active members, a nice community, people doing speeches, being active in the club, etc.
Wonderful, wonderful. For you then, success is looking at it from a club's perspective and what it looks like in a club. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Erica. Anyone else? Let's have one more person. Yes, thank you, Joseph.
Success is providing an environment where people can grow.
Oh, I love that. I haven't ever heard anybody put it like that. That's beautiful. Thank you, Joseph. So most of the time when we look at success, people think success is like, oh, there we go, I'm successful. But when you know success is that little and it's going all over the show, that is success. And if you can learn to celebrate small wins, you will enjoy much bigger success. The secret to success I have found is make sure you've got bite-sized items that when you managed those bite-sized items that you can celebrate yourself as being successfully on the journey of success. because sometimes when it looks like this, I'm telling you, we feel like we're drowning, we feel overwhelmed. And I'm sure you've heard these words in clubs. I'm overwhelmed. I'm so busy. I don't get time. Take note, cut it down, and celebrate those little bite-sized pieces. So success, according to, oh, sorry, I just have something in my way, in my screen. Let me just remove it out of the screen that I can see a little bit better. There we go. That's better. Now, Earl Nightingale says success is the progressive realization. So it's realizing over a time, it's progressively the progressive realization of a worthy idea or goal. I have found that this definition of success, which is not in the dictionary, but something that I can relate very well to, and it has caused me to re-look at success instead of feeling a failure because there are things that I've wanted to achieve and I can't see that I'm achieving it, so I feel a failure. I have been able to re-look at how I see things, and I feel successful because progressively I am busy working through a worthy idea or goal that I would like to achieve. So that was what Earl Nightingale said. Now, if we look at that, then we see that every business has its reason for existence, which might be a worthy idea or not. And there is a how to do it. Well, there should be. There should be a reason for existing and a how to do it. And maybe now for a moment, I would like to just stop sharing and I'd like you to look at Toastmasters totally different. Okay. Most of the time we're looking at it as, yes, this is my place where I can come and learn and grow. And that's good. It's fine. But I feel if you look at Toastmasters as if it is a business and you approach it from that aspect, you're not only going to learn business skills, etc., but you can potentially turn your actual Toastmasters club right around. So how do we look at a Toastmasters club as a business? Well, I also want to say, don't even have to look at the Toastmasters club as a business. I want to say, you are a business. You are a business. And you'll say, that's nonsense. I'm not a business. I'm going to prove it to you. So what does a business have? Give me some feedback. What do you think a business has? What should there be in a business?
A product or a service?
Absolutely. If you don't have products or a service, what are you going to have for a business? Exactly. You need some products or a service. By the way, even if you are working for a company, the salary you earn is the services you provide them. You are a business. But there's one more thing about a business that's really, really, really important.
Maybe plain strategy.
A what strategy?
Plain strategy.
Okay. And the purpose probably for that strategy is because you want to
gain money.
You gotta make some money, honey. You gotta make money. That's the purpose. Or provide the service or whatever it is. And if your income is less than your expenses, serious trouble. And if you have a business, you also have to make sure that the business income is greater than the expenses, because if you don't do that, there's trouble. Now, I know you're going to say, but we're a Toastmasters club. We're a non-profit. I wish I could find that person that made that statement, non-profit. I mean, that's the biggest load of garbage under the sun. You have to make profit in order to survive. It's what you do with the profit that makes the difference. You see, a club, which is a venture that will take profits and plow it back into its people, so that is a returning investment. It comes back constantly into the club, but it has to make profit. You have to think of it like that. And if you begin to think of your club as a business and apply business strategies and principles, you will get to develop yourself successfully in various areas of that. So let's quickly have a look at, if you have a business, do you realize that the 7 club officers that we have are exactly what you need to do in a business to make a business flourish? You need somebody that does your logistics. You don't have, now, okay, I know if you're an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, and even if you own the fish and chip shop down the road and you're the only one there, you still have to do all 7 items that are in a exco on a club. You have to be logistics manager. You have to be able to be the treasurer and organize the purse and send out invoices and have monthly statements and keep the bookkeeping. You got to do that. The secretary is not a PA. It's not a personal assistant. That secretary is like the company secretary that needs to make sure that the legalities of a business is done. Understanding the protocols, understanding what and how things need to operate. You need to do that when you run a business. You need to know how to register it and how can you operate within your registration. Then you get the PR. What's a business without PR? What are you without PR? I've got to learn how to PR myself. That's critical. Then there is the VPM, which is your close the sale or the sales manager. Okay, a little story from my side. I want to use a strong word or a strong expression. I hated salesmen. Like, if I see a salesman, I just say, don't come near me. I had this huge allergy for salespeople. I didn't want anyone near me. And then I realized that I have a serious problem. I need to fix my mind. I need to understand what it is that I'm busy with. It is true. You get salespeople that are really damaging and so forceful. I mean, we had some marketing students that once they in the holidays, the students go and then they knock door to door and they market stuff. They're busy practicing their marketing skills. The one guy who knocked at my door, when I opened it up, he walked right past me into my kitchen and he wanted to install a device on my zinc. Well, I just booted him out of there so fast, I tell you. But nevertheless. So I had to make a mind shift change. What is sales? No, it's not sales. When I have a product or a service, why did I come up with this service or this product? What is the pain that somebody is suffering that I can come and help them, assist them, support them, provide an easier way for them. How can I help them? I realized that it's not about sales. It's really about finding out what that person needs and connecting them with the right product or service or networking, the correct person. And of course, then we have the VPE, which is your program quality or your learning and development in a corporate, and your president, which is the CEO or the owner of the business. Can you see? The club officers are every item that you need in a business. So if somebody's working for a corporate and they would like to venture on their own, begin to go through these items and make a huge success of each one of them in order for you to be a successful business. And I've always said that I use Toastmasters as my school of learning. This is where I learn. Anything that I want to do out for myself, for my own income, I come to Toastmasters, I practice it here. Once I get it to work here, to this point, I have now figured out what kind of wording I must use on my Facebook adverts, what kind of pictures I need to draw specific different kinds of people. So when I'm having a specific event and I want to draw a certain group of people, now I don't know all kinds of people and all kinds of events, but for the certain ones that I have needs of, through my Toastmasters Club, in being PR and practicing for them, I have learned what to do for my business. And it is when we help every member that we connect with, and especially you, Joseph, as AD, when you meet with every president and you can connect their why and make their why powerfully, positively profitable in Toastmasters, it is going to get them to put more effort in because they can see how they can gain benefits. Now, there are people that there are people that they are on earth and they are in our meetings. And please note, I am not busy degrading any group. I just am identifying a group of people. They are neither hero nor villain nor anything. It's just an identification. There are people that you will find in clubs and sometimes even in leadership. They exist. They're not high performers, but they go through motion of life. They come into life and they go out of life. Whether that's wrong or right, this is not the issue about it. It's just an observation. They are there. And they are, in fact, a large majority of people. There are very few people that are doers. People that will pick up something. They don't know how to do it. They will figure it out. They'll know who to ask. They will make it happen. And I'm sure you know the doers and the lookers, if I may call them that, the doers and the lookers. As I said, not a discrimination, but merely an observation. So be prepared. Not everybody in the club is going to come forward and they're going to get involved in doing things because that's what you have. But as a leader, begin early to sift through the crowd and to spot the doers. When you spot a doer, begin to impact their life and bring them on board, connect them with the team, and help them in their journey going forward. Now, Does that mean we leave the rest behind? No, it doesn't mean that. Because if there is a looker and they eventually come to a place where they're thirsty enough or hungry enough or whatever you want to call it, they will begin to ask, and then you'll see it, you'll observe it. So that I've just come to this place because I would like to spend my time profitably. Does that make sense? So where I see people are already doing and they are already activating, they just need empowerment and some fine tuning, then I want to jump in and I want to empower and fine tune them and help them so that they can go forward, because then they make things happen. And then you have time that where you have a looker that begins to wake up, that you can begin to help them as well. Let's continue with the PowerPoint. So that is me and how I see Toastmasters. Toastmasters, my school of business. Let's get back onto success. So how do we do it? That's our mission statement. So if that's our mission statement, let's have a look at the mission statement of a club. A club's mission statement says that let's say ABC Toastmasters Academy or club provides a supportive and positive learning experience. That's all that we need to do. Are you aware of that? In that entire mission statement, the only thing that we have to do is provide a supportive and positive learning experience. The rest will happen as a result. Can you see that? If we do that, it says, in which members are empowered to develop. Because we provide a positive, supportive learning experience, the members become empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting, that's the results, in greater self-confidence and personal growth. So, how do we do it? By going, I say, I'm going to present two main items on how do we do it. Focus on a great member experience and the club success plan. Those are the two critical factors. And if you're in business, I'm going to help you on what is the great member experience. That would be your customer experience, a great customer experience. You can put it out for that. And the club success plan, the DCP. So when we look at the greater member experience, often I have people saying, but you know, we have meetings and we decide we're going to do this and it just doesn't get done. So how can we get things done? We struggle. We have great ideas, but they never happen. So I don't know if you have anything like that. So how can we end up focusing on a great member experience? So I want to share with you a little something that I find that has helped me a lot. How to get things done. Because let's face it, if you want to be successful, you gotta know how to get things done. And Stephen Covey designed what he calls the 4DX, the 4 disciplines of execution. So they did a huge research to find out what is it that needs to happen in order to ensure there's going to be execution. Things are going to happen. There are 4 points, and I'm going to quickly share them with you. The first one is, you need a wig. Joseph, you too. You need a wig. Now, even for some ladies, we feel, I don't want to have a wig. So what is a wig? A wig is a wildly important goal. So let's quickly discuss a wildly important goal. If we take a scenario of a club, they have 8 members. They became verified complete by the skin of their teeth. What would be a wildly important goal for such a club? Joseph, I don't know if you have any clubs that are just there, or are most of your clubs 20 plus members and excitingly growing?
No, there are clubs which they're not at 8, but they do need to give priority to increasing membership.
Okay. So what do you think would be a wildly important goal for them? Because remember, our focus is to create that great member experience. So what would be a wildly important goal for them? No right or wrong answer. Just, how you see it.
Well, I would say there are 2 goals, because if people don't get to the door, you're not going to increase membership.
Yes.
So PR is an important aspect. But the other important aspect is also the meeting quality. Because if people come to the door, but they feel the environment is unprofessional, they're not greeted well, they're ignored, they're not going to return. So they are both important factors.
They are. But you know what? You could even look at them as one. You can just say the quality of the meeting. Because part of the quality of the meeting is somewhere it will have to be PR'd. And, there's other factors that come in. So if you had to, because we want just one wildly important goal. And if we had to trim yours down, I would say the quality of the meeting. Absolutely. I would say that. Is there anybody else here that has a different aspect that they would like to throw in?
Is this still for struggling clubs, or can it be other clubs as well?
You give us a club scenario and what you think would be a wildly important goal to them.
Because in one of my clubs, we're at 30 some members, and we have been for the last couple, 3 years. So it's interesting, as now we have to kind of shift our focus, where we're not in a position where we're having to struggle to get enough members to be distinguished. So now we're realizing we need to focus on some other things. We still want new members coming in, because some people will leave, as is natural. But looking at what percentage of our meeting people attend the meetings, and then reaching out and why, is there something we can change, or even looking at what percentage complete a level, because they can't improve, they can't reach their goals if they're not completing levels. So it's kind of looking at things from a different perspective.
Yes, because if you have so many people, you normally have 2 meetings a month, and you normally would have, if you have many speakers, it's only 5 speakers. That means if you have 30 people, it's like months before they get an opportunity. So yes, you have to take on a totally different approach. And I don't know if you know that, but there was one club, I think it's Lance Miller. I think it was his club. He was sharing about it, that their club went up to 90 something members. Now, I would like to say that's stupid, but I won't. I would just say that was what my thought was. But I guess if people became a community and they did not want to depart, what you were saying, Laurie, would definitely be a huge problem they had. And they would have to figure out, how do we get everybody keep on moving? What would be our wildly important goal to continue building this community, but also to let the community members flourish individually? So that's a beautiful example there as well. Anyone else? Okay. If we look at a wildly important goal, it just means that if we do not do this one thing, it's disaster. In the part of a struggling club, if it's not a quality meeting, it is disaster. In the 30 plus clubs, if that environment is not created that they can excel in, that's a disaster. So yes, there are those wildly important goals. So now that we've established a wildly important goal, what do we do now? That's number 1 done. There's still 3 others to go. So what do we do? How do we make sure there's execution and something can happen? Number 1 was the WIG. Number 2, lead and lag measures. So maybe I should actually just explain a bit about lead and lag measures. Let's pretend, seeing as it's the end of the year, most of us, when the new year starts, we decide we want to lose some weight. So if you want to lose weight, your lead and lag measures will look like that. The lead measure would be, what can you do now that would lead the scale to show you are losing weight? In other words, you can probably say, I'm going to count calories, I'm going to drop sugar. Maybe those are the 2 things I will do, okay? Then I know my lead measures are to count calories. How many calories must I count? So that's one measure, and the other one is 0 sugar, or whatever I decide to do with the sugar. That's a lead measure. The lag measure is, if I say, okay, every Friday I'll climb on the scale and I will see what happened. I lead with my decision on what I'm going to do. The lag is, did it work? Yes or no? Those are our measures. So in the same way, if we were to take those 2 clubs, the struggling club and the successful club, or maybe I like to use more positive words. So let's not call it a struggling club. Let's talk about an opportunity club, because it's an opportunity for all of us, isn't it? So the opportunity club and the exploding club, it's busy exploding and it needs some help there. It's exploding. So our opportunity club, what would be some lead measures that we can do to be able to ensure there's a quality meeting? Now, it's not just for you, Joseph, to answer. Anybody can answer that. What do you think a opportunity club, a club that just has, because if they only have 8 members, not all of them can attend every meeting. So the chances are there's only about 4 that can pitch up for a meeting. So what can we plan? What can we do to ensure that we have enough people at a meeting, that we can be sure that that's going to be our leading measure? What can we do? Dor, any ideas from your side?
Maybe to be more creative, or to think about something out of the box.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I'll share with you in where we are at the coast. We're a very small community. So we are 2 tiny little towns on the coast. And we've had times that we flourish and, up and down times. And when COVID hit, we both our clubs, and the 2 towns are like 35 kilometers apart from each other. They're really close to each other, but there's a whole desert in between. And so what we did was we decided that we will stay individual clubs, but we will have our meeting, because at those stages we were having only online meetings. We decided to combine our meetings and have our meetings online together. So the 4 people of the one club and the 4 people of the other club would come together, and it was 8 people. And then, because there were now more people, it meant you felt more comfortable to invite others, which you wouldn't have done before because you were afraid that there would be too few people. And that set the tone of creating that vibe. So we still stayed our individual clubs with our individual club officers, but we were able to come together, have the meetings together. So one meeting, the one VPE organized it, the other meeting, the other VPE organized it. We always just shared half and half of the speakers were from each club, and we shared the rest of the roles from the different clubs as well. We just worked our way around it. Let's greet. We have a new person. Let me see. Harishita. Oh, I don't know if I messed that one up.
Harshita, hi. Sorry I'm late.
Harshita, hello. How are you?
Good, thank you.
That's good. I'm Granny B007, meeting you all the way from the south of Africa, Namibia, the oldest desert. And I asked everybody, why are you here? So please just answer my question. Why are you here, Harshita?
So I'm here because I just want to learn a little bit more about Toastmasters, and I also coach a club. And so I just want to be able to share what I've learned with other members too as well. So thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I do believe we have some extended family with us, and I welcome our extended family too. It's wonderful that we can be mothers and touching our children while we're doing Toastmasters. Okay, I will continue. We've done the WIG, the wildly important goal, and we've looked at lead measures. So a lead measure would be to plan bringing two clubs together to have meetings so that we can have a better quality program coming up. Does that begin to make sense on lead measures? And the lag measure will be after we've had the club meeting. How did that go? Did we have more people coming to the club? Did we have guests? And did we manage to convert them into members? Okay. The lead and lag measures. Now let's move on to number 3. Number 3 tells us, oops, I pressed the wrong button. I almost pressed leave the meeting. I'm so sorry. Okay, here we go. How to get things done for disciplines of execution. You need a WIG, you need lead and lag measures. Number 3, you need a scoreboard. Now, this is where we are very blessed in Toastmasters. Who can tell me where is our scoreboard, our Toastmasters scoreboard?
The DCP scoreboard and club center.
Yes, the other name for it is the dashboard, isn't it? And the reason why they call it the dashboard is when you drive, it gives you your gauges, how fast are you going, how many kilometers are you driving, all the essential, vital information that you need is on your dashboard. And those 10 DCP goals are our essential, vital signs of whether we are functioning as a club. So we do have a dashboard. And Joseph, as an AD, I want to tell you, there are many presidents and VPEs and VPMs that don't know how to interpret the dashboard. And I've just seen, I have showed them again and again, and I just keep on doing it because unless they understand the value of the dashboard, they won't go there to have a look at it. So our next, oh, sorry, I did the wrong thing here. Instead of sharing the PowerPoint, I just clicked on it so that I can see it, but you can't see it. So let me share it again. It looks, oh, wait, it looks like we have another visitor in the room. Let me just get this screen out of my way. And our other visitor is Tarek. Is that correctly pronounced? Or help me.
Yes, it's similar to Eric, but with a T, Tarek.
Okay, Tarek. Okay, not Tarek, but Tarek. Well done on that explanation. Tarek, my question to you, why are you here?
I'm here because I'm a member of District 109, and I am interested in learning what you have to say. Also, what piqued my interest when I read the graphic was that your name is really Granny B007. So I wanted to make sure that I came to the right place.
You're at the right place. And just by the way, my Namibian government, they made me 007. My ID card is my date of birth followed by 007. So I'm officially a Namibian 007. Okay, let's continue with how to get things done. How do we get things done? According to Stephen Covey, the 4DX, the 4 disciplines of execution. So there must be a discipline of having a wig, a wildly important goal. There must be a discipline of creating lead measures so that you can have lag measures. And you need the discipline of, if you have a scoreboard, go and look at the scoreboard. But what is number 4? I should have asked you all that question. What do you think number 4 would be? Please, let's have somebody come and share with us. What do you think would be the 4 things you should do to get things done? Whether you're right or wrong, it doesn't matter. It's about what do you think it might be.
Dedication.
That would help a lot, isn't it? Those are the people we're looking for. Absolutely. Anybody else would like to venture on this one?
A plan.
A plan. Well, I like that. I haven't heard anybody say that. And it could fit in with what number 4 is. You will not believe me if I tell you what number 4 is. But here it goes. Number 4 is, drum roll, have a meeting. Okay, have a meeting. But it's a very specific meeting. So I'm going to quickly tell you on how you have a meeting that ensures execution. If you're in a company, you can easily do that when people are coming together, and then what they suggest is that nobody sits down. They can come with their morning coffee, but nobody sits down. We stand and have the meeting because we want to do it like this. We do not want meetings that drag and somebody's forever talking. You know how those meetings are, and you just can't get out of that meeting. And when you walk away, you just feel, what a waste of my time. I could have done so much more. So here is how to have a meeting that ensures execution. When you have the first 3 in place, the meeting is where it's finalized. And this is how it's done. At meeting number 1, every club officer has bought into, and potentially, because we have a scoreboard, we are aiming for 10 out of 10. Okay, that's potentially what we are doing. And therefore, every club officer will have their focus area on what they need to accomplish so that those goals are formed. And all of us collectively have to make sure that we pay our renewals so that because if the 7 club officers plus the IPP renew, we are verified complete. And then we can deal with the rest. And we need to go for club officer training. Those are our commitments, and that we honor the Toastmasters promise, that we just lead by our example. So we have that commitment that all of those things are in place. So now when you come to a meeting, the meeting is timed and scheduled for 1 hour, but it will not take an hour to get through it. The reason why it's timed and scheduled for an hour for everybody is to be explained. Listen carefully. So we come in. If there's any business that needs to be dealt with quickly, announcements or what have you, we quickly get that done. And then every club officer or every department leader or every supervisor or manager or whoever it is, wherever you are, this is what you do. they have like 2 minutes in which to tell everybody what they plan to have done by the next meeting. So there's two things that they're going to say. They're going to say, by the next meeting, I will have converted 2 members that I am busy with right now, or by the next meeting, 4 level 1s would have been completed, or by the next meeting, I would have done a membership drive in this area, whatever. So that officer understands the WIG and shares what they from their department can do to connect with the WIG to fulfill the mission. And so it fits within their capacity, commitment, that they are saying what they're going to do. Okay? 2 minutes. That's what I'm going to do. And then they need to report back on the week before. Not the week before, the month before, because if we meet monthly or the previous time it was met. When I said this is what I would do the last time, now I report back. Did I accomplish it? Yes or no? If it's yes, everybody says yay, and we move on. Because we've got it there on the piece of paper from the minutes. This is what was said I was going to do. Did I do it? Yes. I don't have to waste the time to tell everybody that again. But if I didn't manage to do it, then I would say to the president, no, I was not able to accomplish it. Then that moment, the president books 5 minutes. Straight after the meeting, you have the first 5 minutes. We carry on. The next person with a no has the next 5 minutes. We don't waste time telling these things. And once it's all over and done with, it's shorter than half an hour. It's normally 20 minutes, but you give a half an hour so that there's at least a little bit of chit-chat in between. The meeting is dismissed. And anybody that had a no stays behind and then says to the president, no, I was not able to turn the 2 guests to become members because the one's payment didn't show in the account and there's something wrong with that. And the other person, they had there were some errors on their application form and I needed to send it back to them. And they promised that this afternoon it will be done. So within the next week, it should be done. Okay, it's fine. Or I've had serious problems. I need a special meeting where we can discuss this. There are serious issues. I'm the treasurer. I discovered all our money's out of the bank. The card was used and we don't know by who. We just discovered in South Africa, the people have designed, you tap your cards. There's a new device that they have. They walk past you and they take the money off your card because you've got a tapping card. So that could have happened to the treasurer too, walking somewhere where there was a device like that. And then it's a serious thing. Then in those 5 minutes, the treasurer would tell the president that, and then the president will organize a special meeting at some other time, and it will just focus on that. But can you see how different this meeting is and how focused it is on execution? And when we have that kind of thing, because people come there, this is about execution. We're just going to go in quickly. Whether it's popping in online and then staying after or whatever the case may be, but it helps to get execution done fast. Let's move on. I'm just looking at my time to see that I'm still within my limitations. So we have, how do you get things done? The 4 disciplines of execution. Make sure you have a wildly important week. Lead and lag measures are needed. You need a scoreboard to know, are you winning? And the last one is have a meeting. Great, let's move on. So remember, if we go back to this previous slide, I said, how are you going to be successful? We're going to look at 2 items. What do you focus on? A great member experience. So what is the WIG in order to have a great member experience? And to focus on the club success plan, because that's your scoreboard that tells you, is your club a quality club and being successful? So now let's quickly look at that scoreboard. The scoreboard says there's 6 educational goals that must come from a VPE. And the rest of the club officers, because they need to speak as well. And the AD must speak too, hey? And there are 2 membership goals. There is a training goal and there's administrative goals. And if you look at that, do you know how many? I'm an executive coach. And I've used this model and I've told executives, have a look at your company. What is it that you do that must carry the weight of the 6? Do you have the expansion of your club? Do you have the expansion of your customer base? Is there a focus of that? What is your KPI that will tell you you are growing well? Are you doing learning and development of your team? And is your administration up to date? Can you see how beautiful this is for a business? Remember what I said to you, Toastmasters, my school of business. Can you see how many items in Toastmasters prepare me for my business? And then who will lead next? I added that one because if we want to be successful, we need to have a succession plan. Now, let's go. I just want to entice you with, that there are levels of growth because there are various levels of communication and leadership skills through pathways. There's also the listening skills through club meeting roles and other roles. And there's leadership and communication skills through club officer roles. And there's leadership and communication skills through area, division, and district leadership roles. Leadership communication skills through division and district leadership roles, etc. This is our picture. There's a local club. But a few local clubs create an area. A few areas create a division. A few divisions create a district. Now, I am in District 74, and our club numbers have grown. And then we have regions. Sorry, I've just gone the wrong way. And then we have regions. And that's what makes the whole Toastmasters family. We're all over the world. So we can grow our leadership capacity from a club level to various levels going up. And I do hope you all make use of that. So let's have a look at club officer roles and how they connect. So just briefly, if we lead in club meetings, something that you would know, but I'm just going to go through it. The president's like the CEO. The VPPR markets the club and meetings. VPE compiles the club meetings. The sergeant at arms prepares the venue for the club meetings. The VPM helps guests to become members at a club meeting. The secretary records everything at club meetings. The treasurer receives the funds at club meetings. But now I'm going to take you, well, maybe I should just discuss that with you before we go there. Are you aware of the fact that when you have a business, there is something really important in a business that very many clubs do not realize? Now, remember, I'm always about Toastmasters, my school of business, so I keep on coming back to that. I will tell you what I'm talking about. There is what they call E2E, end-to-end processes. Whether it's a large corporate or whether it's just a small business, anywhere you go, there will be a major process that takes place. You've got to find out what that process is. Because if you don't find out what the process is, if you don't look at it and look for where is the major process, because every major process has minor processes in it to make it go. But if you do not look at where the major process is, you will have disconnected, you will not have a process, and you will have malfunctions. And I'll explain it to you, like, as we go through it, you will get to understand it. So if we had to say a Toastmasters club also has a process, and if you get drunk by me going up and down, I sit on an exercise ball. I don't sit on a chair. That's why. By now you've learned I have more energy than youngsters have, isn't it? Hey? Okay. What would you think would be the biggest process in a Toastmasters club? What do you think it is? Not what is it? What do you think it is? I shall have a sip while you think.
I would say training from following your path from the beginning to the first level to the fifth level.
Okay, so that is the personal growth system that you see. Wonderful. Okay, any other systems that anybody sees?
From end to end, I would say from the moment of awareness about Toastmaster to the moment where you achieve your level 5 or your DTM, perhaps.
We have a winner. We have a winner. I label it from guest to member, but you are right. It is from before till after. Okay. I call it the from guest to member process. So how does a from guest to member process looks like in a club? Let's have a look. So the Excro Toastmasters workflow from guest to member. So what do you think would be the first part, the first thing that needs to happen in this process?
The guest would need to hear about Toastmasters, know that it exists.
That is true. That is one of the very beginning things. But if the guest needs to hear about it, then the way they would probably hear about it is there would be a PR about it. Am I right?
Yes.
So if there's a PR about it, the PR needs to have information that they put on there, and who identifies what that information is?
VPPR, I guess.
VPPR puts the information down, that's true. But where do they get that information from? What kind of, let's start off with what kind of information would the VPPR put on about the club when they do a PR?
With the location, meeting time, some information about the club, membership.
Okay. The key word there is the meeting date and time. And who prepares that?
VPE.
The VPE. So yes, our starting place is with the VPE, because the VPE is the person that would coordinate the club schedule. So it starts off with a VPE that coordinates the club schedule and creates an agenda. And I do bring Easy Speak in because many places where I go to, people have Easy Speak. So I just bring it in. If you don't have Easy Speak, don't worry about that, okay? You don't have to do Easy Speak, just so that you know. So they create the agenda and they update that. So there's an agenda. We're going to have a meeting. We're going to have it that day. And the agenda says it's going to be an educational, or it's going to be a membership drive, or it's going to be a fun meeting, or whatever it is. The VPE sets that up. So after the VPE has set that up, you are so right, Erica, because now there's an opportunity for the PR to market that meeting by marketing the club and the meeting to the public and its members, and can even extend personal invitations to everybody. Now, I'm sharing this to you because I want you to see how every club officer is involved in the success of the club. I remember this is about your personal success and for your club. Your personal success is to see the big picture strategically, to be able to develop the components that fit in between so that you can have personal success and the club can have personal success. So after the VPR has done their part, who do you think will come next?
The VP.
So we have a meeting. Yeah, yes, we have the meeting and the PR is there. They've told everybody about the meeting, and now comes the day that we have to have the hospitality and club members there to welcome everybody. And the sergeant at arms had to prepare the venue. They had to book the venue. And if it's a Zoom online meeting, they are the Zoom master. And if it's an in-person meeting, they do things like having name tags and table tags. They present guest packs if it's in person. And they are also the club property management. So can you see how we are busy going there, bringing everybody into place, into this process? So now it's the day of the meeting. And the sergeant at arms has done their thing. And no, it wasn't Erica. Who was it that said the VPM?
That was me.
Oh, yes,
Neuchatel.
yes, Ashita, that was you. So now we come in with the VPM. The VPM recruits the new members and makes sure there's retention. They introduce a guest to a member so that they can sit next to each other during a meeting. If it's an in-person one, if it's an online one, slightly different effect there. And as a VPM, we encourage VPMs to complete the membership forms because most people hate filling in a form. So we encourage them to do that. And then they will notify the treasurer to send an invoice and track the initial payment. So we normally say that every club officer, once something has been done, they notify the entire club officers in the chat. And after the VPM has done their part, who's next? Who are we going to involve next in this process?
Secretary.
I hear why you say that the secretary, because capturing the person's information, etc. However, the VPM has notified the treasurer to send an invoice. So yes, the secretary has the attendance register that keeps the minutes and updates the records. That's what's happening on the sideline. And the treasurer, oops. Oh, yes, we're coming there. And the president sets the tone for the club. He is the CEO or she is the CEO fulfilling the club mission, leads the club to earn the DCP and other outside duties of the club. And the treasurer is the one that now sends the invoice to the member. And now, once the member has received that, we go back down to VPM, because the treasurer has notified, yep, the person is paid, I've received the proof of payment, and then the VPM will update both EasySpeak to make that person a member and the TMI website after the payment being processed, and informs the EXCO that the new member's information has been uploaded. And it's also then the VPM's job to notify the president so that an induction can take place. It's the VPM's job to do an orientation. And then we move on to number 9. The treasurer will inform the VPM when the membership payment is received. And the number 10 is the VPE conducts a member interest survey, introduces them to pathways, and assigns a mentor. And we encourage clubs that the immediate past president handles the mentor program, because that works really well. So here you can see a complete guest to member cycle. So Mahatma Gandhi says, be the change you wish to see in the world. Be the change you wish to see in the world. And at this point in time, I would like to ask you, tonight we said how to lead your club and yourself into success. I started off by asking you, why are you here? It is only when we understand what we are here for that we can ensure we are gaining what we are here for, that we become successful in what we are here for. And it's the same with every single member. So if we want to empower our members to become successful, it will make our club successful. If we learn how to empower these members, we become successful because we become people that inspire action. That's what leaders do. I'm going to close off tonight by sharing a little story with you. And before I do that story, I want to ask you, do you just give me a yes and no answer, okay? It's as simple as that. You can just unmute and say yes, no. Even if everybody does, let's just hear, are the yeses there or the no's there? Yes or no? In order to get things done, is it better to have a team or an individual? Let's focus on a team. Is it better to have a team if you want to get things done? Yes or no?
Yes.
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 4. Okay. 4 yeses. Okay. It is. I'm telling you, I have been CGD, and we had some teams that were amazing. We ended up, besides being the largest district in the world at the time, we even grew exponentially. In the first 3 months of the Toastmasters year, we charted 15 clubs. We finished the year with 36 new clubs because we had dynamic teams. You hear me? And I've just seen where there are battles, it's often because I don't have the right people in my team. So my little story that I want to tell you is this. I don't know if you are aware of the fact, But Google researched what makes a successful team. And they spent millions on it because, Google, I mean, they know how to employ people. They know how to get the cream of the crop. They get the best of people. So why would they have some teams being successful and others not? But they do. And that's what made them say, so we know we picked the right people, but somehow there's something wrong with who we're putting together because some people are winning well and others not. So where's the issue? What is it that makes a winning team? And then they discovered, they did huge research, millions were spent, and they looked at people's personality. They looked at did they know each other? Are they introverts, extroverts? They looked at all these aspects of who you are. So who are the kinds of people that we should put together, What is that magic winning group? Let's find them and put them together. And you know what they found? Nothing. They couldn't find anything. So do you know what that shows us? It had nothing to do with your character, your religion, your beliefs, whether you're male, female, he, she, it, or whatever you are, whether you're white, black, Indian, mixed color. It's got nothing to do with anything of who you are. Nothing. So what makes a winning team? What makes a winning team? They said, well, if it's not who they are, then maybe we need to look at how they interact with each other. And that's where they found the key results. They found that if they create a psychological safe environment where people feel cared for, people excel, they flourish, there's engagement, there's growth, there's all kinds of powerful reactions. But when people do not feel safe, they retract, become disengaged, and do just what they need to. That's if they get paid. But if they work for the if they volunteer at the Toastmasters Club, they might disappear. You probably have had some clubs where there's static. When there's static, you struggle to have a winning team. But if we can teach people to connect with their hearts to each other, that we deeply care. I'm not talking about familiarity, that every person becomes your drinking buddy, even though I don't drink, but you know what I'm talking about. But it has to do with heartfelt care. Heartfelt care. And that every person felt heard. They felt they contribute positively. Even if somebody made a suggestion, and it's not going to be a feasible suggestion, but if we start asking questions about it, and because we ask questions about it regarding that person, they begin to feel valuable because they've made a contribution that's being considered. And as it's being unraveled, when it turns out that no, even though it was considered, but when we look at these things, it might not be the best. Let's keep on looking. They feel valued because their inspiration that they shared wasn't just shut down and said, oh no, that won't work. But they felt heard and they are ready to think further. But if somebody was to say, I mean, if Erica was to say to me, oh, I think this is what we should do, and I say, oh no, Erica, that won't work. Who else has a plan? Everybody else will stop. They won't even think because they'll say, I'm not going to have her tell me, no, that's not going to work. Am I right? Yeah. And we know that Toastmasters tells us what was that mission. Let's go back to just that mission. Let's quickly go back to the mission. And then I'm going to just have some time for you to ask questions. Let's just go back to the Toastmasters mission, club mission, the way we know it. Toastmasters provides a supportive and positive learning experience. Supportive and positive. Do you think that that creates for a safe environment when we do supportive and positive? And we know, how many times doesn't Toastmasters even use that statement of a safe environment? I would like to encourage us to seriously consider how we interact with our teams and how we interact with each other. And I close off with this statement. Ugh, I'm pressing leave the meeting again instead of sharing. Okay. George Bernard Shaw says, those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. Those who cannot change their mind cannot change anything. Ladies and gentlemen, any questions or discussions?
You can unmute yourselves if you have any questions.
I have a question about your circle of when you have a guest coming into your club. Do you have a recommendation on if the club officers should vote on whether the guest should become a member to reach the level, or if they're a fit for the club?
Yes. So let me tell you, I made that generalized circle to help people understand that there is every club officer fits in there. There is a process, and we all need to work together for the greater good. I did not put all the bits and pieces in there. But yes, when it comes to that, I have been in clubs where people do that, where they vote for the person, whether they are allowed to become a member, yes or no. And that, to an extent, if it's handled correctly, that the person understands what the Toastmasters promise is, and that they are ready to commit to that. Or we listening, are there some excuses or whatever the case may be up front? And then to present it, because often we find that that presentation that you do to the club to say, do we agree with that? Everybody just says, yes, 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 yes. It kind of lost its purpose, if I may put it that way. And it's not everywhere, but I've seen that sometimes when that's what they do, it's just everybody says, yes, 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 and it's done. The person is a member. So, yes, I would encourage that, but I would encourage it to make sure that it doesn't become just an automatic yes, 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 yes. What is it that we want to achieve when we present it to the members to make sure whether we should bring this person in? That we, that old saying, let the main thing be the main thing. Why are we doing this? Can we just get back to why we are doing this? And maybe stop doing it for a season and then bring it back on again so that it can have freshness. So yes, the answer is it can fit in there. And I'm just saying, beware that it doesn't just become, like driving. You're just driving somewhere. You don't even know you've changed the gears. You don't even know you've put the indicators on because you're just so used to driving. But let it always be something that we are doing from our hearts. Now, that was a long answer. Sorry. Yes, Joseph.
I believe Harshita put her hand first.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So you've mentioned member retention, and I think this is one of the hot topics.
Mhm.
And it's kind of a not no man's land, but both persons' land of VPE and VPM. So could you give us some hints on which aspects are the VPM's realm and which aspects are the VPE realm?
Okay. So if I had to do that in a quick way, I would put it this way. So allow me to be cheeky. If I would always say a VPM must be like a pastor of a church. If you're not Sunday in church, Monday he's phoning you. That's heartfelt care. The retention comes because I'm calling you, I'm caring for you. That's the VPM, the caregiver, the pastor. I just always think that that is such a nice association because people understand that. The VPE side is, if the member isn't speaking, they're not coming back. That's as simple as it is. I always tell VPEs, your learning is to be a strategic planner. Work out your year plan, plan everybody, and tell them when they're speaking. Don't wait for them. Plan their success. They'll wake up one day with their level 1 completion and say, what? I have a certificate? Yeah, I planned your success. You see, when I started with Toastmasters, they were telling us, have that little thing that people can choose for the next 3 meetings, what they would like to do. I did that. But I find since COVID, people drop out. They're not there. I plan their success. I build relationships with them. I call them. I say, hey, so what are you going to speak about? Or are you afraid? What must I support you in? Do I need to pump you up with some energy or something? I make it really, I want them to feel I care about their success. And I'm regularly there with them. So how far are you now? Have you at least got the title for us? So what's the title? No, you don't have it. Okay. I want the title in 5 minutes. Come on, give me a title. I want a title. And people then, after a while, when they get that certificate, they know how they got the certificate. They know you cared. You cared when they weren't there. You cared about their education. They stay.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. You had your hand up and I didn't even see that. Ashita, go for it.
Oh, no, it's okay. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for that question, Joseph, because that was really, that touched me a lot. So I have a couple of questions, but my first one is overwhelmed, right? So I'm a VPE and a secretary of a club, and I've had various other president roles and things. And I'm very enthusiastic, and I do this, like, I plan their success, and I do that. And sometimes I think I'm too much for the members, and I overwhelm them too much. What's the balance, and how can I try not to step over that boundary so that they don't feel overwhelmed, or they don't feel, oh, I can't do this anymore, I'm not coming anymore, right? I don't want to lose them, but so yeah, what's your tips?
So that, for me, that's such a great question because, that already shows to me, yes, you've got a gift of administration and you're putting your ducks in a row and everything is happening. That's great. But often people are great administrators, but they've got nothing in the heart. And you're showing me you have a heart for them. Now, I don't know if you were here when I was talking about you have the doers and the lookers. Okay, I was saying in a club, in the world, not just in a club, in the world, you've got this huge percentage. Well, I divide the percentages like this. This is my statistics that I found over the years, you have in the world about 2% of the world that makes things happen. And you'll find it in your club, in your community, everywhere. And then there's a 3% that are extremely supportive. They are the big supporters of helping those that are making things happen. And then you've got 95% of the world. They have some awareness of what's happening. And so when you apply your energy as a leader, try and identify as fast as possible who are your 2%ers and 3%ers. Get them going first. And again, I'm just stressing, this is not a discrimination thing. It is purely a strategic analysis. Because if we take those people and we empower them first, then you can use those people. Like as a VPE, what you should do is you should immediately have 2 people that you have identified that are the doers. They are there with you. The one person is going to purely look at programs and make sure that every program agenda is there for every week. The other one is looking at everyone's education. Okay? And that's the way that the 95% or the doers, the lookers, that's how we then use the doers to empower the lookers to be able to grow them and take them up, and to realize that their level of working and commitment and doing is much slower than others. And to be able to understand their pace and to work with their pace. But you can encourage them and give them a little bit of a oomph to go a bit further. But that's what I would say. I do see that we are over our time. I am quite happy to stay on. But I would like to just I'll carry on to help with more questions. But Elena, would you just tell us, how do you feel, so that if those that need to go must go, that I don't know how that works, you take over here and then I'll take back from you after that.
Well, I first of all, I would like to thank Granny. Please give her a warm applause. It was a very nice, course, and I'm very happy that I have attended. I really enjoyed, and I hope you enjoyed too. So are there any other questions? Because I want to respect our time. So we have Harsita with questions. If you may, Granny, if you may stay a little bit for answering the questions, and then we will close the meeting.
Okay. So if there was somebody that needed to go, by all means, but other than that, I'm quite happy to quickly answer questions. And Harsita, go for it. Send us your next question.
Okay. So my next question is club coach. How does that fit into the end-to-end process? And the second question following on to that is, if your heart's in the right place and you want to make the club successful because it's a weak club, but you have different priorities to a president, how do you convince the president, or how do you work with the president to get onto the same page? Thank you.
Dearest Harsita, the one thing that I can tell you is this. You know that also saying, you can't make a horse drink, but you can give a horse some salt. Okay. So that coaching thing is a critical synergy that needs to take place. If you have a coach that's serious, that wants to do coaching, that cycle that I've used there is what they can use to help empower, to get the wheels of the club going. You with me? To help everyone to see how they fit in, because if one of them is not doing their job, that the whole cycle is going to fall apart. That gives purpose to everyone. So that's what this coach can use. But if the president and the coach are not seeing eye to eye, it's not going to work. Don't even push it. Just make an agreement, say, this is what I felt is the best for this club to go. Are you in agreement with that? Do you give me the capacity to go into the club and empower the people and help them to get this going? If the president is willing, off you go. If the president says yes, because you know that happens, they say yes, but then they give you all this resistance, then in a caring heart to say, I really would like to help this club. I have shared my plan with you, but somehow I feel a resistance. I'm not saying you resisting me, but I feel a resistance. I find it very difficult to be able to do that which I presented to you. So I would like us to collaborate here and form an agreement. If I misinterpreted things, help clarify it for me. If I didn't misinterpret it because and you are feeling uncomfortable with some of the things that I'm doing, and you feel that I am not bringing the benefit that you would like me to bring, then maybe we need to look for another coach that can maybe do better in accordance with what you see. That does not make, did that from the rest of you, did that sound like I know what I'm doing and you're just not letting me do it? Or did it sound caring? Caring. Okay. That's what we need to be all the time. We have not had an inquisition. We didn't have people asking questions. We cannot jump to conclusions based on something that we're encountering. So we can't have a conclusion that you are resisting everything I do. You don't care. You with me. It has to be a decent, let's find you another coach that might be able to do better than I am in achieving what you would like to, because it seems like we don't see the same thing. And just move on, because there will be another club that this coach can do well with. And that's why it's important to pair coaches with presidents as fast as possible to be able to make the journey a pleasant journey. Any other question?
No, that's great. Thank you so much. It's really helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else with a question, or is this our farewell?
So I guess there are no other questions. Thank you all for being here today, and a big applause for Granny and her great presentation. Thank you very much, Granny. It was an honor to have you here with us. And I wish you a nice evening.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So can I have a quick photo with all of you? Thank you. And I like to take 2 photos. So if I may do that, I like to take 2 photos. And the first photo, I just want to have a nice smiling photo. The second one, we will have an action photo. Okay, are you ready for your nice smiling photo? Remember to look at your camera and smile. 1, 2, 3, and smile. And let me just paste it on my page so that I can send it to you, Elena. Then you can have it as well. And the second one that I'd like to do is, so we are reaching the Hall of Fame, and you have just received the prize, and you are the star of the show. What would you look like when you are the star of the show? Now, on 3, 1, 2, 3, and yay! Okay. Thank you, everyone. You are just an amazing group of people. I so enjoyed meeting you. Elena, thank you for the invitation. Have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.